views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Bona Bakere olówó ẹyọ èṣù ìkórèwà ẹlẹ́màránì tó bí lọ bẹ́lẹ̀kẹ̀ nígbàrà ọ̀rọ̀ sáwò èṣù máa ṣẹ́ mi ọmọ ẹ̀lẹ́ omi mi ò ṣe èṣù máa ṣẹ́ wa. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀ èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀ bẹ́lẹ̀kẹ̀ èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Issue deo deo, issue deo deo. Nobody can take my joy away. I am born to be happy. Every single wish shall supply for me is enough to be jolly. God no need to be worried, no. Cause life is a blessing, no. My life is a blessing, no. Issue deo deo. Issue deo deo, issue deo deo. Asana. Issue deo deo, issue deo deo, issue deo deo. Agena. Every morning I awake, I give thanks to my glory. Issue la Louis who makes all those open up for me. Bad energies no room for you. Ọ̀la ìlú, èṣù bá lè kọ̀ ọ̀wọ́ ìlú, òró ìlú, ọ̀la ìlú, ọba ẹ̀ bọ̀rà nílẹ̀ kẹ́tọ́, èṣù ìbẹ́ bọ̀ orúkún, ẹlẹ́gbàrà níbẹ̀ bọ̀ òrùsà, ẹlẹ́gbàrà níbẹ̀ bọ̀ òrùsà, oníbòde. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀, èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀, èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Bẹ̀lẹ́kẹ̀. Èṣù dẹ́ọ̀ dẹ́ọ̀. Issue deo deo, issue deo deo, issue deo, issue deo deo, issue deo deo, issue deo deo, issue deo, issue deo, issue deo deo.
Wale wa egungun ibao wale o. Persecution, horrors, Wolewa. When they try to oppress me, humiliate and stop me, Wolewa. I pour libation and send my supplication into the spirit realm. Never will they let me down, Wolewa. They see my tears, they feel my pain. With patience I'll rise again, Wolewa.
Mojuba ile Shango Oniwalo Eri jaja Orisha oko Erumole Shango Mojuba ile Iwalo Bakuso Shango Mojuba ile Shango Niwalo Eri jaja Orisha oko Erumole Shango Mojuba ile Iwalo Bakuso Shango Mojuba ile Baba Oniwalo Eri jaja Orisha oko Erumole Shango Mojuba ile Iwalo Bakuso Shango Mojuba ile Shango Niwalo Eri jaja Orisha oko Erumole Shango Mojuba ile Iwalo Bakuso Shango Mojuba ile Baba Niwalo Eri jaja Orisha oko Erumole Shango Mojuba ile Iwalo Bakuso Shango Mojuba ile Baba Niwalo Eri jaja Orisha oko Erumole Baba Shango Mojuba ile Iwalo Bakuso
Oh divine, I want to see mother face. I want to see she face.
how she watch me bold. It is you I'm talking to. Yes, you child. From the journey you can't get away. Ancient rhythm is here to stay. So go back and show the people the ancient rhythm inside of you. To the ancient rhythm, make them move. To the ancient rhythm, make them move. To the ancient rhythm, move to the ancient rhythm. To the ancient rhythm, make them move. To the ancient rhythm, they got to move. To the ancient rhythm, to the drumming of the queen of the ancient rhythm. I see mother, I see she. Yo, Alex, go.
Me be my answer. Afifi jeje. Efufu leje. Yawa oya ashe. Iba oya ashalaya ashalorun. Winnie winnie me be my answer. Afifi jeje. Efufu leje. Yawa oya ashe. Iba oya ajalaya ajalaru. Winnie winnie me be my answer. Afifi jeje. Efufu leje. Yawa oya ashe. Iba oya ajalaya ajalorun. Winnie winnie me be my answer. Afifi jeje. Efufu leje. Yawa oya ashe. Iba oya ajalaye ajalorun. Winnie winnie me be my answer. Afifi jeje. Efufu leje. Yawa oya ashe. Yawa oya ashe. Yawa oya ashe.
Ancestors, we call on you to fight the fight on our behalf. Ancestors, we call on you to walk on our enemies. Asheo.
All the way from Africa land, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk on them. All the way from Africa land, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk on them. Walk on them, 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 walk Ancestors, we call on you. You came across the middle passage. Ancestors, we call on you. Some have shown up about some have shown. Ancestors, we call on you. From this land of Trinidad, great warriors, we call on you. Walk on them, 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 walk on them. Yoruba ancestors, 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 walk on them. All the way from Africa land, they come in, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk on them. All the way from Africa land, they come in, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk on them. Great mother, we call on you. Yonder, we call on you. Your children crying, screaming. Great mother, we call on you. When we bought this libation, we threw the coordination from the four corners of Trinidad. Great mothers, we call on you. Walk on them, 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 walk on them. Yoruba ancestors, 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 walk on them. All the way from Africa land, they come in, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk on them. All the way from Africa land, they come in, they come in. All the way from Africa land, they come in to walk on them. Buddha worry.
Sell out and buy. 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 Sell out and buy.
Sell your sin for grace.
Sell out and buy. 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 Sell out and buy.
Sell your sin for grace.
Sell out and buy. Sell out and buy. Sell out and buy.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MCD, and every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Sheet 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Oh, this clothing line is all about books in the black man's mind. All about reminding us as how beautiful we are for the year of fire. Oh, the clothing line features checks, polos and shirts. Oh, dashiki, lady v-neck, lady tank top, and baby jeans. Yeah, dresses and
Issue Beleke.
Ikaro.
Yemoncha de wa yawa, Yemoncha de wa yawa, Yemoncha de wa riwo. Yekwemio, Yemoncha de wa yawa, Yemoncha de wa yawa, Yemoncha de wa riwo. Yekwemio, Yemoncha de wa yawa, Yemoncha de wa yawa, Yemoncha de wa riwo. Yekwemio. When we
Aboro, Aboye, Aboshishe. So we are here on the Ifa Orisha Way of Life on the street 919 FM. We are streaming live on Facebook. We're streaming live on YouTube. And tonight my co-host Shaka, he's hooking up via Zoom. So you folks on Facebook, on Iwer TV, on YouTube, you can see my brother Shaka Aboro Boye Aboshishe.
Peace and blessings.
Yes, so
my brother,
what's up? I know last minute you could not make it, but we are here. Yes. We are finally here. Sorry about the late start, but we had to make sure everything good.
Facts.
So we're gonna pay respects to the sponsors of the Ifa Orisha Way of Life. The Ifa Orisha Way of Life School of Enlightenment is also a sponsor of this program. Abalaye Spiritual Store located in Carney is also a sponsor of this Ifa Orisha Way of Life. I'm going to play the ads for you guys to hear. These are the people who make it possible for us month in, month out to keep this program here on the street 919 FM. So, the background just different tonight, but I believe if I switch it over, I go just go over to me and Shaka blank screen. So, next week we go get it back how it was, so I'm going to play the ads now. Sponsors for the Orisha Way of Life. Kamara's Quality Store, the #1 importer and supplier of genuine products from Africa, located at Adams Bazaar Main Road, Shogunas. Contact number 672-8438, 320-8866. Gossip Gel Polish. Gel with a difference. Contact number 3827587. Come let us take care of your feet, Petty by Risi. They also sell butters. Contact number 3984474. Nubian Experience, clothing that tells part of our rich African history. Number 6 Woodford Street, Arima. Contact number 6881979. Oriyumi, Nico Loggins, Health and Wealth Lifestyle. Number 73 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. EMG out of Texas. Richie's Tire and Automotive Car Care Center. Number 409 Otello Drive, Hampton, Georgia. Sponsors for the Ifa Orisha Way of Life.
Also sponsored by the Throne of Gold for all your African supplies and clothing. Their contact number is 754-5128. That is the Throne of Gold. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Omo Inu, all things woman. For all your Yoni products, they are the sole women's haven distributor for Trinidad and Tobago. Their contact number is 365-4332. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Black Tie-Dye Catering Service, 683-8755. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Awo Wabande Tonic, 388-4606. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Ile Josio Turameji, Awo Oshun. Thank you.
Yes, so we're back at it. The Ifa Orisha Way of Life on the Street 919 FM. Streaming live on Facebook, on the Street 919 FM Facebook page. Streaming live on Iwer TV on YouTube. So we are here. So brother Shaka, you lead us with the Iba.
Ashe, we give thanks for the opportunity to connect with brothers, sisters on this day. So Ifa tells us there's nothing we can do without the blessings of Olodumare, without the permission of Olodumare. So for all of us to be on the same page, when we say the word Iba, it is simply I give homage. So I say Iba Olodumare. Iba to all the Uri that is connected and locked on this program at this space and time. Iba to our mothers, Iba to our fathers, Iba to our ancestors who sit at the feet of Olodumare.
Bene.
Iba, Yeye Oshun, Iba, Ajay, goddess of wealth, divinity of wealth. May wealth locate us wherever we are. Iba, Barami, Agboniregun, or Mela, the one that witnessed our destiny. Iba, Baba Yeshu, Iba, Ogulakaye, Iba Shango, Kabiyesi. May justice always be our portion. Iba Bogbo Orisha, Iba Tawans Ulowo, Iba Tawans Yanifa, Iba Tawans Ojubona. As we have paid respect and homage to all entities and deserving spiritual essences,
Ashe.
May our program be blessed. May everyone locked on this program receive a blessing
Ashe.
on this day. And may we live to testify of the blessings of Olodumare in our lives. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
I'd like to pay homage to my elders and all elders of all shrines, Ilays and Palais, all over Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, the world. You know, pay homage to Ifalashe, Olori Ogboniabaye in Nigeria, you know. I would like to say tonight we're going to have a little discussion. This discussion is not what myself and King Shaka has to say, but we like to hear you guys out there, your guys' feedback, you know. We want to find out. We heard that there was a solution to it, so we're going to go forward because Ifa Orisha is our way of life, and we intend to keep it like that. Eh, Shaka?
Benny, facts.
So I like it to quote from the Udo Ifa that speaks about talking and having balance within people.
Well, Ifa says, according to Iwuri Meiji, that whenever a complaint is brought against a person, a third party must be present whenever a matter is being adjudicated. Ifa says, if a person brings an accusation against a person, the person who is being so accused must be given the opportunity and that space and place to give their insight, give their thoughts. Otura Meiji also tells us of the uncontrolled tongue.
It
tells us that if we do not control our tongues would bring destruction and chaos into our lives. So Ifa tells us in Otura Meiji that we must control what our mouth is letting out, lest we bring harm and destruction to ourselves. Ifa tells us these things. So it's incumbent on all persons, all devotees, all awos, that in every single situation, the things that comes out of our mouth, if it is not curtailed, if it's not presented in the correct way, it can bring harm and destruction to oneself. And that is out of Otura Meiji. So as we start our discussion, may the essence of the Udu Ifa Otura Meiji bless all of us. May we access the wisdom of Otura Meiji in all of our undertakings, in all our words, in all of our actions. May Otura Meiji help us to temper ourselves and allow us to make sensible utterances. Aburaboyo.
Bato. So we're just going to recap on what we did past couple of Mondays before we get into it. My first caller I'll be hooking up with will be Baba Okan. Right, so we spoke on Ifa's counsel and abuse in the family. You know, last week, physical abuse, emotional abuse, social abuse, mental abuse, economic abuse, psychological abuse, spiritual abuse, metaphysical abuse, ideological abuse. We touched on that last week, you know, so everything everything is just joining with each other. So we continue the topic this week. So I'm going to hook up with Baba Okan at this time. So we're going to hook up with Baba Okan. Just waiting for Baba Okan to... Abora boya boshishe Baba Okan. You're live on the Ifa Risha. We have live on the Street 919 FM.
Ashe. So, I'm happy to be on. I want to extend all greetings to all elders that are locked on, all my brothers and sisters, all Aborisha. Let me know this because there's a time delay.
You're getting the feedback after it. So, Baba Okan, there was a conversation last week. You know, Ifa speaks about respect, patience, and humility. You know, and there was a little discussion in the community last week concerning Amurti. You know, so I would like, as an elder in the community, I would like to hear your take on it, Baba.
I appreciate the fact that you thought it wise to ask my opinion, but actually I saw the whole issue as a non-issue because I feel happy to know that the people in the Hindu community can revere one of our Orisha. In my mind, that's not just a plus, but it also says a lot. It speaks volumes towards what we call religious tolerance and unity. Because when you look at the pantheon of the Hindu deities and you look at the pantheon of the African deities, you find that there are certain principles, underlying principles that run parallel. So, I mean, everyone in Trinidad knows that they can be, as we say, equivalents. Because most Orisha people in Trinidad has to interact with Hindu deities and we interact with ancient Egyptian deities, the goddess Isis, being one, Osiris. We interact with them spiritually. We react with Set, Anubis. There are those of us who do. There are those of us that interact. I'm speaking Aborisha, people who are under Orisha, who interact also with Catholic saints, Saint Michael, Saint Gabriel, Saint Luke, Saint George, etc., Saint Jerome, Saint Anthony, in front of a torture. So that there is traditionally, because of what you call the closeness or proximity of various religions, Roman Catholicism, Hinduism, Orisha, naturally there would be some common ground. Because there are rivers in Trinidad that we share. You'll go, one side will go to the river for Yeye Oshun, Another side will go to honor Gangamai, Lakshmi Mata. So I don't understand what the issue, I still don't understand what the issue was, because I found it so beautiful. And it said so much for religious tolerance and unity. In a time when religious environments are fragile, other parts of the world, people killing one another because of religious differences. In Trinidad, we unite and we are coming together. I commend the pundit who got the vision also to do this, because I am no fool. I know for sure that for a person to do a murder of the type that was described, he has to get a vision. There has to be a spiritual instruction. So therefore, the people who are criticizing it are going against the decisions of the gods. And they forgot the basic rule. The gods are wise. The gods see what we cannot see and know what we cannot know or do not know or sometimes choose not to know. So when we talk about syncretism, yes, you have had as a large extent the interaction of the various religious bodies. Even when you go to Nigeria, you have syncretism. I saw a clip today where a pastor of a church in Nigeria was preaching Ifa. He was reciting an Odu, and not in a way to condemn, but in a way to give understanding to the people who are around him. And isn't this something that has been happening in Trinidad a long time before? I'm happy to see that someone is playing catch up. Because people have to understand that first of all, in order for the belief system of Orisha, or some are saying today Isheshe, to continue to exist, it had to be disguised. We saw it in Cuba, Brazil, Haiti, Venezuela, Suriname, Guyana, Grenada. It was disguised. And today, it's coming out in such a way where the disguise it's now so obvious, like it was just a disguise. For example, in Cuba, Shango was equated to Saint Barbara. In Trinidad, we consider that ridiculous. But when you think that the people were simply hiding or disguising there, then you begin to understand. And today people are walking, people are coming out of the darkness. People are coming out, but we realize that not everyone is coming out of the darkness, yet they're coming out, I guess, at different rates. At different rates, we're enlightened and we come out of darkness. Because in my mind, it is an honor for another religion, another belief system, to honor one of mine. So I, Baba Okandada, cannot criticize it. I see it as a beautiful thing. I see it as a sign of the type of religious tolerance that we need. Because when we have elections, sometimes the type of bitterness that comes out of certain parts of the community, we need things like this for healing. Because Lakshmi Mata is known as a deity of healing. And Yeye Oshun, oh my God, the greatest healer, the one who heals with fresh water. So in my mind, it was a positive. And I'm hoping to see more things like that happen in the future, where other religious bodies can respect our divinities, because we have respected theirs. Because there no spiritual person in Trinidad, when I say spiritual meaning coming from African spiritualism, could tell me that they haven't interacted to some extent to the Lord Shiva, to Lord Hanuman, to Lord Ganesh. Remember, Lord Ganesh is equated to Eshu in some quarters. Lord Hanuman is equated to Odin in some quarters. Lord Shiva is equated to Osine in some quarters. This is just because of what we call religious syncretism. The relating of Osine to St. Francis. Religious syncretism. The equation of Shango to St. John. Syncretism. The merging, the coming together of various, of different forces, different energies, and something coming out of it. And what came out of it was preserving us, preserving our belief system. That today we could stand proud and say Shango has been the patron of Trinidad and probably Tobago. I know for sure about Trinidad, I'm not sure Tobago. Someone else would have to see. But I can tell you that when I was young, I heard my elders say that Shango was the patron saint of Trinidad. And we see how colorful Shango is, not one, because long time used to say, you're going in the Shango, boy? Oh, there's a Shango, they're going and dance the Shango. They go in and dance. This was his statement. They go in and dance the Shango, or they're going in the Shango, where Shango is one deity, but obviously he was the most popular, well-known, respected, feared, etc., etc. The Orisha of lightning and thunder, the warlord that stood up in defense of his children. So I still believe that Shango is the patron of Trinidad, and I believe in the future that is something that will be formalized, as Oshun is the patron of Cuba. I'm not sure how they do it in Brazil, but I know for sure that in Cuba, Oshun is the patron. She's known as the patron in Cuba. Yes? Any questions?
Shaka, you have anything for Baba Okan? You have anything for Baba Okan?
Ekale Baba Okan, how are you? Ekale, peace and blessings. Is he hearing me?
Baba Okan, you hearing Shaka?
No.
You ain't hearing him. He says Ekale Baba Okan.
Ekale Baba Shaka.
Peace and blessings.
He says, yeah.
Now,
coming
on the heels of what Baba Okan had outlined in terms of religious syncretism.
I'm not hearing him at all.
You're not hearing him at all? Yeah. I don't know what happened. You still not hearing him?
Ekale?
Still not hearing.
Ekale,
I hear him on the laptop, but not hearing him on the phone.
Okay, that's good still. So
Ekale.
again, Ekale Baba Okan, good night, and thank you for your contribution And coming on the heels of what Baba Okan had said about religious syncretism that have been part of our history within these shores of Trinidad and Tobago due to colonization that stemmed out of chattel slavery and other external as well as internal forces. Many of our traditions have been mixed, as he had said, have been syncretized. Now, what gives us strength as a people? It's when we have doctrine to support where we go and what we do, and even what we practice, and even the upkeep of our traditions. Now, Ifa tells us in Ogunda Onwari, it tells us about the importance of one's Isheshe. It tells us about the importance of one following the traditions of their forefathers, of their foremothers, of their ancestors, and following it the way that their ancestors have laid the foundation for a people to follow certain practices. And one's tradition, as we know in Ogunda Onwari, is one's protection, both spiritually and both physically. One's tradition is one's protection. And we have seen that some of the downfalls of a people losing their tradition is that it limits and diminishes a people's idea of self. Reason being, without your tradition, you are like a tree without roots. Because every tradition is inspired divinely and spiritually by Olodumare. Case in point, what is one's Isheshe? One's Isheshe is one's family lineage, one's mother, one's father. And who is our ancestral lineage linked to? Odudwa, the progenitor of the Yoruba race, the progenitor of the human race. When Ifa came to this world, Odudwa was the progenitor of the Yoruba race, with a female called Nibinini, and they progenited the human race. So for people following the tradition of Ifa, this is how the lineage starts. Because when our world was started, Olodumare had sent entities, spiritual entities, to put this world in order. Olodumare had sent Orunmila, he sent Abatala, Ogun, Shango, Oshun, and he had sent 401 deities to put this world in a particular order. And when they started that, these deities made multiple trips back and forth to Orun to ensure that what they were doing to set this world in order was set in the right manner. And that's how lineages and traditions were born. Yeye Oshun, as we know, is a Yoruba deity, the deity of prosperity, wealth, knowledge, reflection, and all of these positive attributes that are accessed to us as human beings. And Yeye Oshun is that universal principle that gives us that sober reflection of truth. And Ifa tells us in Ofun or Yeku that when a people diverts from their tradition, it's when that people is doomed. So Ifa tells us failure to practice one's tradition in the correct way, it will cause problems to come into one's life. As we know, these spiritual entities are energies. So when we speak about Yeye Oshun, to me, even though there may be similarities, as some say, but from my school of thought, Oshun is Oshun. Oshun is not like any other entity. Oshun is Oshun. Baba Eshu is Baba Eshu. Baba Ogun is Baba Ogun. Because they are primordial, the first set of entities of Olodumare that descended on planet Earth to set the world in order. So Olodumare, with the divine knowledge and wisdom, did not duplicate these energies. As much as we live in a multi-plural world, and we live in a multi-plural society, according to Ogunda Onwari, everyone has their section, everyone has their place, and everyone is given their divine assignment that helps them to connect with the spiritual energies. So if a man is practicing Hinduism, according to the practice of his ancestors, if he diverts from that, he would fall into problems. If a man so claims to be practicing Ifa Orisha and he diverts out of the path of his ancestors, he will bring problems unto himself. Because what the Ifa Orisha, what the energies tell us, is that we must be faithful to them. If we go to Oshun and we want Oshun to work for us, we must promise Oshun that Oshun, Yeye Oshun, we are coming to you for our salvation. And we are not looking to any other entity for help. It's the same as if a person who practices Buddha goes to that energy of their lineage, they would have to submit themselves wholly and solely to that energy. As we all know from the days of ancient old, a person cannot serve two masters. A person cannot serve two masters, even though the destination of Iwapele may be the grand goal. There is different paths that one have chosen to reach their intended goal. For all of us who practice Ifa Orisha, when we were coming to Aye from Orun, the sky world, to earth, all of us stood before Olodumare. According to Otura Meji, we stood before the ancestors. We stood before our Egbe. We stood before the entities, the Irumale. And we had promised them that we would follow our destiny in the manner in which was set out and outlined for us. So even though a person is practicing Ifa Orisha, the foundation of our practice is getting initiated to find out your blueprint in order to function best in this world. So as our great elder says, find out your destiny, live your destiny, and fulfill your destiny. That is what would help an Ifa Orisha devotee keep on the line of what they're supposed to walk. Because according to Ogunda Onwari again, if you poke your nose in other people's traditions, that is what causes a group of people to begin and to become enslaved. Because the moment you take to mind other people's business, it's the moment when other things would come in and take over what you have to be doing. So Ifa tells us, let us not poke our nose in any other tradition. Let us stick to what is ours and live ours to the best of our ability. The moment we are living out of what we chose, it is when we are losing that connection to Olodumare. Everything has a blueprint. Every person on this sphere of earth, every Egbe has a blueprint. And when we speak about Egbe, what we speak about it's our section in heaven. What Egbe Aye and Egbe Orun is, it's our section. So we must stay in our section. It's not that we are to met out disrespect to other people. You give respect, you take respect, and you move on. This is a world that is highly diversified. But what gives the uniqueness is that when a person sticks to their section, Olodumare created this world like that. Hence why in nature, we will see pigeons flying with pigeons. You will see doves flying with doves. You will see catfish moving with catfish. We need to stick in our section. We need to stay in our lane. Because when we stay in our section, that would ensure that we are fully insulated from the attacks and allowing ourselves to be controlled. Let us stick in our section. There may be people who get whatever divine inspiration to do whatever. That is them and their relationship with Olodumare. Whatever a person do in this material world, they will have to answer for that. But for the average Ifa Orisha devotee who is focused, you need to have on your blinders, because many things will be put before you. And if you are not focused, it will lead you away from what you are destined to do. Let us not allow ourselves to be caught up in the hype, caught up in the fanaticism of seeking, to want to be in every single thing. We cannot make ourselves vulnerable to everything. A tradition is there because that is your insulation in this world that would keep you in the line of where you are supposed to walk. So I make this plea here today, and it's also an emotional one for me as well. Because when I look around and I see a group of people in a state of anomie, unmindful of their past, unaware of their present, and ignorant of their future, it tells me that that group of people is lacking a tradition. Ifa is our tradition. As much as some of our ancestors, based on whatever circumstance, had to do what they had to do to save and protect what we have today, let us not lose focus on what we have. Oshun is Oshun. The Oshun I know is Oshun. The Ogun I know is Ogun. I don't know Ogun by no other European name or by any other European standard. I don't know Oshun by any other name outside of what Oshun is. So if persons so choose, to make that type of similarities, I would so advise them that stick with doctrine. Stick with the doctrine that that gives proper teaching and guidance of what these energies are. Because it's like high tension wires. It's like high tension energies. When they are crossed, what would happen to you? When certain energies are crossed, it would bring problems to a person. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters. Stick to what is for you. And again, I will just wrap up and say, for the Ifa Orisha devotee, according, now I'm flipping Ogunda Onwori, and this is Onwori Ogunda. I wake up and I behave as my Ifa tells me. It is the footstep of my destiny that I am following. I will not consult a person who does not know in their house. What Ifa tells me is what I would always do. Cast divination for the responsible man. And we must understand that once we stay on the line of what Ifa has for us, this would definitely give us victory. This would give us victory. When a person is in this tradition again, we must not come here in the tradition for inclusion into popularity. You are in the tradition because you are following your destiny. Because it's your destiny that brings you closer to Oludumare. Aburu Aboyeo, Ashe.
Ashe, you know, well said, King Shaka. Well said, well said. So I'm gonna hook back up with Baba Okan, you know, for him to give his side here on what King Shaka just said. Baba Okan. Yes, Baba Okan, hearing you?
Yes, I'm on.
Yes, I'm hearing you. So I know you heard what King Shaka had to say.
Yes, actually, as an elder, in the tradition, it is instructive for me to know how the younger ones are thinking. Okay, and he was correct. He is correct in that Oshun is Oshun, Lakshmi is Lakshmi. But what is beautiful is that both among the Hindu people and among some Orisha people is that they see a dichotomy, they see a similarity. And for people like me who have seen and is well acquainted with the manifestation of Lakshmi Mata and Yeye Oshun, I can tell you that there is quite a bit of similarity. However, I do agree that Yeye Oshun is Yeye Oshun, and Lakshmi Mata is Lakshmi Mata. But I want to add this for our understanding that spirit, in the realm of the spirit, they agree. There is what is called agreement, because there are multiple domains. Orisha is just one. Voodoo is another. Look how similar Voodoo is to Orisha. Look how similar Shakpata is to Shakpana. Yet one has to be careful, because the Voodoo vibrations or energies is different. The manifestation is to some extent different to on the Orisha side. But we don't condemn it. What we do is understand it. Because all spirit agree. There's agreement in the domains. And if the domains agree, then we as mortals simply have to jump and follow suit because they are the ones who define our destiny. Orisha defines the destiny. Our destiny is defined through Ifa. Yes. But how about Hindus? Their destiny is defined also through their religion. And actually, in a situation where justice has to be weighed, let's say between a Hindu situation and Orisha situation, then the both energies will come together and stand for justice and truth. Both energies on both sides of the domain will stand up for justice, righteousness, truth. And that's very important to know. The Orisha will not support you for doing wrong against a Hindu person. No Orisha will support you for doing wrong because the Orisha don't see race. Neither do the Hindu deities. They see respect and worship. And as an elder, what I teach is respect for all forms of religious or rather spiritual interactions. Respect all spirit. Respect all spirit. Because they are all very meaningful. And if you say you are Orisha and you disrespect a Hindu spirit, the Orisha will not support you on that. You'll be punished anyway. And I don't think I need to repeat that.
Baba Okan, I just want to take a call here.
Sure.
Abora boy, Aboshishe caller. Just want to take this caller. This call here. Yes, caller.
King Shaka, you always have my respect. But you see tonight, you take it to another level. Oh, I am so proud of you, King Shaka. I am so moved by what you spoke of and how you spoke. I am so proud of you. Thank you so very much. What we have is complete and was made for us. Don't get involved in fanatism. I mean, I don't have to repeat all of what you said, but I'm telling you, my respect for you has been moved to another level. Thank you so very much. I'm listening.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much for your contribution. I'd just like to touch on some of the folks on Facebook. Angie St. Paul, she's always there. Ronaldo Alexis, Debbie Ann Paula is there. Only Boss Lady Nikki, she's here. She's also, I'm going to be also linking up with her shortly. Nicole Hills is here. You know, Orisha Lashe is here. He's from the Nubian Experience. Yeah, Umatayo is here. You know, Lesha Granger is locked on. Elizabeth Charles St. Louis locked on. Rachel Lewis, Princess Anna Maria Baker, you know, Judy Small, you know, we have a lot of people as usual. Spraggy Syrup is also locked on. Alison Baines. We are not trying to bash or attack anyone, but we are just trying to gather the thoughts of the community and people within. We are not going against anyone because, as you know, we say Ifa is about respect, patience, and humility. Not so, King Shaka.
Ashe, Benny.
Right?
Facts.
So, Baba Okan, I know you're still there. Baba Okan. Baba Okan, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, Baba Okan. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, I think it was that the situation in the last week or so was such that it helped bring enlightenment to a lot of people. And I believe that it also brought in respect among various communities. Because in Trinidad, we don't exist in a vacuum. The Orisha people are a section of the population. So are the Hindus, the Muslims, the Catholics, the other Christians. Okay? And as I said, I saw the situation as promoting religious tolerance, something that is so grossly needed in the world today, not just in Trinidad. This whole the whole issue of religious intolerance, where recently I saw a woman was burnt to death in Nigeria because it is said that she was falsely accused of disrespecting the Quran, and she was burnt to death. She was stoned and burnt to death. And we wonder at that level of religious intolerance, if we do not respect each other's beliefs and accommodate each other, then we'll be like the road we'll be heading on, where people can simply say something about someone, rev up people, and next thing a whole wild crowd wilding, waiting to lynch somebody for something that they hear about with no proof whatsoever. We see it happening in other parts of the world, and we see it happen on a regular basis in other parts of the world, and we wonder, will that ever happen here? We hope not. So when I see another religious group showing respect to our beliefs and our traditions, I feel happy. I feel happy because it says that there's hope. Because one of the things that other religions teach, and especially in like the Christians and Muslims, is that you are first a member of that belief system, and your family ties become secondary. Your family becomes secondary because the person who believes the same thing with you becomes first your brother. Whereas in Orisha, we teach that family and ancestry is what is it is upon the ancestors that it is upon the ancestors' shoulders we stand. And another thing happening here in the Western world, particularly in this African diaspora, is that when we left our ancestral homes in various parts of West Africa and came across to the West and had our mothers and sisters raped by the slave masters that produced mulattoes and then quadroons and then coming down the road, red people, etc., etc. What happened? What happened then? Because in Brazil, you see people who are quite obviously blonde and blue-eyed being initiated and becoming babalawos. Cuba similarly. Because the religion of Orisha is spreading, or some say well, for us traditionalists, Ifa was part of Orisha for traditionalists. So we don't understand words like Ifa/Orisha. Yes, you can intellectualize it. You're free to do that. But the fact is that we don't know anything about that. We know about Ifa as divination. And so it is part of what we call the Orisha work. And you can't change that because that's how it is. That's how our ancestors saw it. That is what I would record. We saw Ifa as a system of divination that came out of the Orisha work. Okay? We made offerings to Orun Miller traditionally. We had songs for Ifa. We even have songs that came out of Bifa corpus. As I was telling you recently, Oyigi Otalomi is coming straight out of Ejiobe. And then we have Arabani Baba from Otuamechi. So the fact is that we have, and many others, that came out of Bifa corpus, and we sing today in Trinidad as part of our traditional repertoire. The fact is, that when we speak of our ancestors and our ancestry in the diaspora, we have to be very careful, because remember, Jane intermarried with John, Jumbo intermarried with Marianne, Ebuka intermarried with Kojo. Get my drift? So eventually they have 2021 have to be very careful with a very colorful ancestry. Jumbo, I can marry with, and Marianne, I can.
Baba, how can we get our feedback?
Intermarried with my ancestry is even more complicated.
Yes, Baba Okan. Hello?
I can marry with, and I can.
Baba Okan, we get our feedback.
Intermarried with my ancestry is even more complicated.
Yes. Baba Okan. Yes, so we're gonna take a break. Umotayo says respect is the key. Baba, the rain falls on all, the sun shines on all. Atiba Swampa says blessings to my brother Kenny Amaroso. He also says Miolo Domari Orisha, our positive ancestors. Bless the hosts and sponsors of Ifa Orisha Way of Life from Ile Juba Gogbo Orisha Mimo Funo Sa Shrine in Tableland. So I'd like to thank Baba Okan for his contribution. King Shaka?
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Indeed. Thank you, Baba, for sharing your thoughts.
Yes, so I would like to take a break, play some ads, and I'll come right back at you. It's all about the Ifa Orisha Way of Life here on the street 919 FM.
Oh, this clothing line is all about hooks in the black man's mind. All about reminding us as how beautiful we are. For the year of fire, Oh, the clothing line features t-shirts, checks, polos and shirts. Oh, dashiki, lady v-neck, lady tank top, and baby jeans, dresses and
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke, and every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Sheet 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Oh, this clothing line is all about hooks in the black man's mind. All about reminding us as how beautiful we are. For the year of fire, Oh, the clothing line features t-shirts, checks, polos and shirts. Oh, dashiki, lady v-neck, lady tank top, and baby jeans, dresses and
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MC.
For the Orisha Way of Life, Kamara's Culture Store. the #1 importer and supplier of genuine products from Africa, located at Adams Bazaar Main Road, Shogunas. Contact number 672-8438, 320-8866. Gossip Gel Polish, gel with a difference. Contact number 382-7587. Come, let us take care of your feet, Petty by Risi. They also sell butters. Contact number 398-4474. Nubian Experience, clothing that tells part of our rich African history. Number 6, Woodford Street, Arima. Contact number 688-1979. Oriumi, Nico Loggins, Health and Wealth Lifestyle. Number 73, Eastern Main Road, Barataria. EMG out of Texas. Richie's Tire and Automotive Car Care Center. Number 409 Otello Drive, Hampton, Georgia. Sponsors for the Ifa Orisha Way of Life.
Also sponsored by the Throne of Gold for all your African supplies and clothing. Their contact number is 754-5128. That is the Throne of Gold. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Omo Inu, All Things Woman. For all your Yoni products, they are the sole women's haven distributor for Trinidad and Tobago. Their contact number is 365-4332. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Black Tie-Dye Catering Service, 683-8755. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Awo Wabande Tonic, 388-4606. You can find them on Facebook and also on Instagram. Ile Josio Turameji, Awo Oshun. Thank you.
Yes, so we back at it on the Ifa Orisha Way of Life on the street 919 FM with yours truly, your host Alatu Miche, Faba Miche Aganki, you know, and we are having a discussion, you know, a good, healthy discussion. And so, not so King Shaka.
Asheo, and it's good that, you know, we have a platform where we can sift information.
Yes.
You know, because we don't want, because IFA, according to Osher Okara, forbids us from misleading people and leading them down a path that is not where they are supposed to be. So IFA tells us that we must not mislead people. So that is why it's very much important that the information that we get, it must be that positive information that is for the benefit of those who are tuning in to learn. Abu Rabo, you.
Ogbato. So we go to the this call. I have a very frequent listener to the Ifa Orisha Way of Life program. I have Warrior Kitty. Pleasant good night to you.
Kali, good night.
Blessed night to all your listeners. Blessed night to the program.
Yes.
You know, one love to each and every one that is listening. You know, so I'm happy to support your show. I'm happy to give my opinion and my views based on truth and to my understanding.
Okay.
Right? What as I understand, because I follow in the program tonight, and you all are speaking about the multi, half Lottery, half Mama Oshun.
Yes.
Right. My opinion, I respect everybody's opinion, so my opinion is that they are not the same. Based on my knowledge, Mama Oshun is an African angel that when I mean an African angel, I mean that the first, if we go to our history, and if we walk spirituality, under spirituality, we will understand that African people is the first that were created, right? And scientifically, it is stated that that is only a black woman can create any other race, so I shouldn't use race, but any other level that exists in China. Indian, white man, some woman can make any one of these generations. None of these generations. I don't know why I'm a phone doing that. Hello, you all hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Right. None of the other generation or the other race can create us. So based on scientific knowledge, we were the first. So the biblical Bible call the Orishas angels, right? So angel is what exists in our domain. But we have learned that they are our Orishas. They are the ones that were created by God to each element. They are the ones that God expressed himself, whether through lightning, through thunder, through the rain, through the river, through the sea, through the earth. Each Orisha or each angel have a portfolio within the existence of our existence. Right? So I am to understand that Mahalakshmi is a goddess for the Indians. Right? Now I'm not talking based on race, I'm talking based on spirituality. Right? And Mahalakshmi, the only African people that entertain all, and I mean all religion, is a spiritual Baptist church. A spiritual Baptist church is not based only on tradition. A spiritual Baptist church, you can go on the mourning ground, where we know as a moon, to moon, and God can appoint you to walk a Muslim road. He can appoint you to walk a Hindu road. He can appoint you to walk an Orisha road. He can even appoint you to walk Christianity. Spiritual Baptist Church is open to all levels of God. We are the only faith that don't discriminate or look at anybody other or condemn any other thing, right? Because we are open as a group of African people to accept, knowing that everything comes from us, right? Now, based on the Murti, having said all of that, to explain myself, based on the Murti that is joined half Lakshmi, half Oshun. Lakshmi is an Indian goddess, right? They may have feminine energy, but Oshun is totally different from Lakshmi, because Mahalakshmi, you don't give Mahalakshmi blood, but Oshun receives blood because of the rituals to entertain her on her righteous side, on the side of goodness. You don't give Mahalakshmi blood because Mahalakshmi is not of Oshun level, and it is a total different rituals in total. I am not condemning, but I'm talking based on truth. I'm not condemning no one religion or no one faith, but I'm talking based on truth. What you will do for Ma Oshun, you cannot go to the house of Ma Lakshmi to entertain Ma Lakshmi. The house of Mahalakshmi or the Murti, where they will give her fruits, milk, water. I don't think that they give her even alcohol. They don't give her wine. But Mahoshun, from old school tradition, we will still give her wine. Right? I don't know if it has changed now because a lot of things has changed. Right? And I'm still not condemning nothing. But I know that the two being joined as one, it's two different levels. It's not the same. It would not be the same. It's plain as creation. The earth will be the earth. The sun will be the sun. At no given time you can say the sun and the earth is the same. It's not the same. The earth holds the sun. Even we stand on the earth, but still it's not the same. Right? But they do have their portfolio by God. They do have their way of life. If the sun don't shine on the earth don't produce, anything. If rain don't fall on the earth don't produce anything. So we must know that in spirituality, there is order and there is levels and there is different diversities of gifts in God's kingdom. Right? Whether you want to say is the same is not the same. It can't be the same. It will never be the same. That's my opinion. That's my view in a very short speech towards this, in a very short contribution towards this Orisha way of life discussion.
Thank you very much, Warrior Kitty, who is always supportive of the Ifa Orisha way of life. May Olodumare continue to guide and protect you. Your ancestors continue to support you. So I'm going to go to my host, my co-host, King Shaka. King Shaka on Warrior Kitty's input on what she gave. I just want to touch on some of the comments of some of the folks on Facebook. Sherry-Ann Gibbs says, Ashe to that. Ronaldo Alexis says, King Shaka, you truly hit the nail on the head earlier. Oh my gosh. Janet Armstrong says, yes, that's absolutely correct. We're mother of all nation. I was told this by my deceased grandmother. Rachel Lewis says, no, but there are ways of doing it. Odin Kwao says, good night, all, my brother. Ashe, Ekaleo. Janet Armstrong says, she also gave me an example of if you put all the races in a dark room and you pass your hand on their head, when you reach African here, you know it's an African. We are so precious as a people, but some of us don't value ourselves. King Shaka, you want to give your feedback on Warrior Kitty, strong in his spiritual Baptist faith,
Firstly, I would like to thank Warrior Kitty for, her wisdom.
Benny.
And I truly thank her. So I would say that, just to echo what she had said, the two energies are different. What rituals you will do for Oshun, it is for Oshun alone. What energies, what rituals a person would do for any other deity, it's specific to that deity for what purpose, for a particular reason. So again, it is incumbent on us as a people to ensure that we do not mix our ancestral traditions, because our ancestors are there waiting to give us our blessings when we stick to our tradition. Ifa tells us that when a group of people pokes their nose in the traditions of other people, it is when they begin to allow themselves to become enslaved. So we need to always keep this in our minds as a people. As much as we give respect to all, we must respect ourselves as well and respect our primordial energies for what they are. We must give respect to Oshun for whom Oshun is. We must give respect to Ogun for whom Ogun is. We must give respect to Ifa for what Ifa is, and whatever denomination a person follow. Give respect to your various tradition in the right way. And one of the ways to give that respect is by not poking one's nose and seeking to mix. The mixture it causes a problem and it causes harm to that person. So Ifa Orisha, so the Ifa Orisha way of life, it tells us that we must stick in line with what our destinies are. As I had said, all of us come from different Egbe, different communities in heaven. And we come on earth and we live in different communities as well. And the only how and community is infiltrated, it's when we leave room for other things to come in and poke their nose in our business. Let us maintain the sanctity and the spirituality of what our tradition stands for. Let us maintain that, because as a human being comes into earth on every sojourn, all of us have made a promise to Olodumare, our ancestors, and the divine energies, that we would live our lives in a particular way. Yes, this is a multi-plural society, and it's a fact. But we give respect to all, but we hold on to what is ours and we leave the rest. Alatumishe.
So true, my brother, so true.
So we hold on to what is ours and we leave the rest.
Benny.
There is a great writer. His name is Ayo Salami. And he wrote in one of his books, he said, Ifa, it's not just for the African man. It's for all groups of people. But why Ifa is seen as something that the African man has to hold on to, it is because of the experiences that the African man had went through in terms of losing one's tradition, losing one's name, losing one's practices. So Ifa is what connects us back to our ancestral practices. So if a person practices something outside of that, I will give respect to them, but I would implore persons seeking to know their true divine purpose, go and get yourself, an Ifa consultation by a competent, adept person who is so trained to do so, because it would set us in line.
Benny.
Even if a person belongs to another denomination, once you are in a tradition that cannot tell you what you are supposed to do in this life, there is problems. So whatever tradition a person belongs to, it must tell them what is their usefulness to Olodumare, what is that person's uniqueness, and what is the road that would carry that person to walking their purpose on this earth. Because when we step out of the line of our purpose, it's when we move further from our divine purpose. So, in saying this in a nutshell, let's stick to what our tradition says. Let us not poke our nose in every single thing that is out there. There are many things in this world. There are many streets, many roads, many things. But if we try to grab at everything, we would be distracted. Let us not be distracted. Distraction comes in many forms, many fashions. We give respect to the birds, the trees, the river stones, the banks of the river. We give respect to all. But what is yours, you hold on to what is yours. You give respect to a person's domestic space as well. So Ifa tells us, maintain respect. But firstly, respect must start with you. As H.J. says, the people who trouble this world are so many. The wicked ones there and there are so many. They number more than 150 million. Cast divination for Oren Miller.
Benny.
He was saddened by all compelling incidents. Ifa enjoins us to be honest. So that honesty comes with holding on to what a person is destined to be in. Holding on to what is yours. Don't taint things. Keep on that line. Ifa tells us in Ejogbe, honesty. And honesty is not just, how you talk and interact with people. Honesty is how you even interact with the spiritual and the celestial powers. You give them what is theirs. You address them in the way that we have been so inspired to address them as well. So even in Iwori Meiji, if it tells us, Obamu Bamu Pira Pira, the tail of the buffalo is so bulky. Cast divination for Oren Miller on the day he was going to cover this earth. What that Udu is saying is that there is nothing in this world that does not happen without Oren Miller witnessing its presence. There's nothing in this world that Ifa Oren Miller did not witness. And that is out of Iwori Meiji, when Oren Miller was seeking how to cover this world. And he was advised to do Ebo. And he did that. So Oren Miller, Ifa Oren Miller, contains the competence of knowledge of all single things. So why could a human being try to go beyond the wisdom of the Orisha? The Orisha have seen all things, they have heard all things, they know all things. We cannot rewrite the history of how certain things are made in this world. We cannot rewrite how certain things have been divinely designed by Olodumare. We cannot do that. We cannot do that. Olodumare or Oren Miller, according to Osa Otura, both of them know the secrets of this world. And by such, all Orisha interact and communicate with them to find out the secrets of how certain things are to be in this world. So there are different groups, there are different Egbe, there are different types of society, but every society has their divine uniqueness in order to prosper. And look around in our community. Look at the group of people that are bereft of that societal and emotional comfort. Look around. Look around. The writing is on the wall, and it tells us when a group of people is bereft and misguided in what their tradition is, they open themselves to become enslaved. And Ifa tells us that Abura Boye, my brother.
Ugbato, as I tell you, that is the encyclopedia, the Udu encyclopedia, King Shaka. So I'm going to, we go to our next one of the callers, with this discussion. We're not attacking anyone or going at anyone in any way. Abora Boye, Abo Shishe Kola. Pleasant good night. Yes, now. Again, hold on. Yes, caller.
Good night. Yeah, good night.
Pleasant good night. You could speak a little louder and you could start over the conversation, please. Because I wasn't hearing you for a while.
Pleasant good night.
Pleasant good night to you.
To you, Ifai Bamishe.
Ifa Bamishe, yes.
Yeah. And pleasant good night to King Shaka.
Yes.
Right. And pleasant good night to the viewing public.
Yes, we'll be waiting on you. You can go ahead. You can proceed.
All right. Tonight we dealing with, I believe the topic is about the Murki. Half Oshun, half Malakshmi.
Yes, we waiting on you. You can.
Yeah, hold on. Huh?
Yeah, you can load on because we hear any feedback from you.
Yeah, any feedback, guys. Let's load on it. Yeah,
don't worry. The viewers and the listeners listening to me, you're blasting out loud.
Right, lovely. Tonight we're dealing with the Murki, as we say. The half Oshun, half Lakshmi. Mm-hmm. My views on it is that one is of a totally different essence to the other. They could never be on the same level. Now, I see that the Murki is joined together, and listening to Baba Okan, the elder, earlier, he talked about the coming together or the tribute being paid to Oshun, or finding or the people that find, pay respect to the Oshun or to our Queen Oshun, right? But I would say that Oshun is on a totally different level to Mahalakshmi, right? And we have to understand, matter of fact, we have to know who our Orishas are to begin with, right? Not taking anything away from Mahalakshmi, because she also has her portfolio,
her attributes,
right?
Yeah.
Yes, her portfolio, her attribute, and she has her own essence and meaning to the Hindu people, right? But we, as Orisha people, Orisha devotees, we also have our belief system, right?
Yes.
I would like to read a little of a document here, because this topic make me go back and look on some old stuff that I had, from prior time. First, we must understand who the Orishas are, right? So I'm reading from the document. The Orishas are the element entities consisting of a divine creative essence and nature substance called, in combination, Ashi. They are perpetual, continual, self-generative, self-illuminating. They possess the ability to integrate the inherent energy, or ashe, into more physical forms of nature, such as rivers, trees, mountains, animals, and even human beings, and so forth. The Orishas are viewed as, or interpreted literally, as emanations of the one God force, the God force Olodumare. Right? Our African religion is a beautiful religion. It is beautiful because it is ours, and it is potent because it saves us through understanding Ashe.
Ben.
Right? So, by saying what I just said there, what I just read from this document, we must understand, or we have heard this story before, when the world was being created, they excluded Oshun from taking part. And when you look on it, all what they went to do was not yielding fruit. It was not coming together. Right? And when I want to believe is, I don't know if it's Obatala or thing. I can't remember the story exactly, but I know when they passed and they saw that their duty was not, or what they were sent to do did not come together. You know the story?
Yeah, I know the story.
Right?
You know, yeah.
When things couldn't come together, they asked where was Oshun. And when they went looking for her, which part she was bearing fruit and flowers. It was green and all put together. So, we have to understand as Orisha people, and we have to hold our values very close to us. My personal view, I find it is a little bit insultive, because we know what Oshun means to us. If the maker of that murti truly wanted to honor Oshun or come together, I believe that they should have made one murti of Oshun and one of Mahalakshmi, probably on the same space, to give Oshun the respect that is due. Because without Oshun in our day-to-day lives today, we will not be alive. We would certainly be dead. Because we can't live without water. And water is one of the elements of Oshun. We also know her as the keeper and the upholder of the freshwater expanses. And if we go deeper into these studies, we would see that Oshun also holds a big portfolio when it comes to the ancestry, with the dearly departed that has left this plane and gone over onto another. If they have to communicate from where there is to their ancestors or their lineage that is still alive, Oshun holds that portfolio for them to come back across the threshold. She's the one that has to give that okay for them to cross over to communicate with their lineage. Now, I don't want nobody feel, the Hindu community to feel disrespected in any way. But I don't feel okay with that, what I saw. Right? Now, we have to be careful as people who follow the Orisha belief system. And we have to also be careful of offending our Godheads. You understand?
Yes, loud and clear.
Now, I saw this Mulki and I said, well, I don't know exactly if probably they didn't know or they didn't ask questions. But before you go and do these things, you should ask questions. You understand?
Benny.
We should ask questions. We should question our elders. Question, because I even went to my elder today. And there was a time at the temple, it was St. Francis Healing School. I was being told today that the owner of that shrine was putting up some diyas around Baba Hussein's space. And for whatever reason and purpose, Baba Hussein manifested on the same said person and told who was there to remove the diyas from his space. So certainly there is boundaries when you're talking about spirit. Spiritual Baptist 101 is that we know there are boundaries and there is order in the spiritual realm. Anything runs out of order, anytime the sun comes out in the night, we know something is wrong.
Definitely wrong.
You understand? So I believe that we need to take our time and study and ask questions to be wise in this time. Because when somebody makes these mistakes and the younger people see these mistakes being made and they think it's okay, they are going to carry it on to the other generation. You understand? We must understand that there are boundaries. There is a certain hymn we just sing in the Baptist faith, boundary to boundary. When you go to India as an African man, you go there, you talk the language, you meet who you meet in the spirit.
You walk the Hindu road.
You walk the road.
Yes.
When you go to China, you walk China. And when you bounce up Orisha, you dance the dance of the spirit.
Benny.
So, you understand? So we must understand clear that Ushun is on a totally different level to Mahalakshmi. I would say that it's a mistake that has been made and it could be corrected. There is still time. Right? Because these days you hear, when you listen to the younger people, you hear them saying the Orisha spirit is equivalent to a Hindu spirit. or it's equivalent to this on this side and this on that side. Orisha is Orisha. There is no equivalent to them because they are the spirit. They are the spirits of creation itself. We came from them. Okay? We came from them. And we don't dictate the pace for them. We don't tell them what to do. They tell us what to do, what the Godhead wants. I saw one time a young man brought a male duck, or a drake as we know, for Ushun. And we know personally that she takes female duck. Right? The young man said that Ushun sent him with the male drake. Yeah. And it's a young, and if I tell you, it's a young leader. I wouldn't call his name because, you know. But we must be careful.
We just having a nice Celtic conversation.
Yeah. We ain't going. I ain't going into all of that. But I just saying something because we're talking about Ushun here. Now, I know we venerate Ushun for the last 20 years. 20 years back, we venerate her in pink. And it's because of the creative life force of Ushun and what she represents. We venerate her in pink here in Trinidad and Tobago. Outside of that, sometimes you see them venerating her in yellow. But we must understand there is a difference between ancestry and life force.
So true.
Okay? When we're talking about living things, living, breathing, moving things, the river, the pond, the fish that live in it, we must know there's a difference between that and ancestry. Right? And I would say, I'm kind of, I wouldn't say disturbed, but I'm disappointed.
Okay, thank you.
I am disappointed because there are people who are of this, elders that are of this Orisha belief system that know better and could have reached out and said something. One thing, you know, King Shaka is a guy know a lot about the Udus. But there is a part we must always talk the truth. No matter how it may sound, or no matter how some people may feel about it. You know, we must always stick to the truth. And the part of chaos, most of the time when it comes to you, is when you don't follow what the will of God is pertaining to you.
Really?
Or your destiny, as King Shaka has just said. Right? And there even is our Orisha that stands and is the upholder and keeper of destiny. You know? So, this Murki, the joining of the two, we have to be careful. Because we can't go and show milk and different things here and then want to go and offer a female duck and other things in the same space. Right? There are boundaries and there is order. One of the joint Murki, one particular one, is the head. And I wouldn't say the other one is the tail, but she is are on a different level to the other. Right? So we must be very clear about what we put in out there for people to see. Right? And we must also keep our tradition safe. When the younger people come and they see we make mistakes like that, they would follow and do the same. We need to get it correct. If you think and you don't know, ask a question. Get to an elder, ask a question. If you don't know. Right? For the last 20 years, I have not seen anything like that. By now, if certain elders was alive, it would have a big something going on about that. You know? But we're not telling people what to do in their temple.
So true.
But there is boundaries and there is order in the spiritual realm. Right? And what I can say, if we're talking about justice, we're talking Ogun here. He is the keeper of justice. And if I was to put him with Hanuman and say that they are the same or they are of the same level, then I would be fooling or misleading the younger man or the younger ones that coming up. As elders and people and holders of the faith, we must be clear and we must not mislead the younger ones. Right? That's my take on the Muruki. Okay. I do not agree with it.
Okay. I thank you very much to Jason King, you know, always listening and locked on to Sheet 919 FM. Before I go to King Shaka, I'm going to go to Baba Mello down in Point 40. Abo Shishi.
Alberto.
How are you?
Greetings, Baba Shaka, Baba.
How are you?
Well, doing fine. Enjoying the conversation.
Yes, as I say, we having a nice, healthy conversation, and we are not, I need to get it right too. We are not justifying bashing or justifying what someone have in their space, but you know, we just hear any feedback from members of the community, you know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
Finding out what's going on.
Right. As we just say within IFA, IFA is the owner of wealth charms. IFA is the owner of spouse charms. IFA is the owner of children charms. IFA is the owner of charm of all area of life. Now, it in terms of, IFA has an answer to everything. Now, a lot of people are looking at two different cultures, but let me take it as Ogbe and Oyeku copulating. We get Ogbe Yeku. Just as if we take Osher and Otura, we get Osher Otura. Two different. So in terms of, if we're looking at these two entities copulating, it gives birth to something new. So I think the wisdom is one should find out what is this new entity that is formed or copulated with these two energies to bring about whatever answer, because everything has a reason and everything has a purpose interbeing. If I could give the answer, but you know, there was nobody I think did a divination to ask, what is this? You know, saying, so with the joining of the two entities, it is really saying we need to find out, or one need to see what is this new entity that is
Sorry about that.
All right?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm saying in terms of in moving forward, we could seek divination, we could seek advice, we could seek even consultation, even sitting with the person who have created it, that there could be a clarity because, there's so much things yet to be explained or come into the world that we haven't even perceived yet. Look, we are in the age of the Aquarian age, the age of knowing, and yet we still in the age of believing. We believe this should be this way, and we believe that should be that way. Let us now find out to know what is birthed, because it has been mentioned that there are new Orishas to be born into this age, this time. Now, that have to go in a whole different debate, but they're saying, let us look and try to understand through Ifa what is being birthed here, because there would be an answer. This morning I observed that the sun and the moon, but it was not the sun and the moon that was shining within about 4 miles separate, but it was another planet. All right? So there's strange things are happening in this era, and if you look at the movement of the earth and the shift of the whole universe, there is strange things that's going to happen in this new age, in this age of the Aquarian age and the age of knowing. And I think we should more look at what is Ifa saying. Everybody have an opinion. I could have an opinion because my first question when it was posted was, well, what is the wisdom? And the person who if they explain the vision, then we can see clearly what is really the whole formulation of this thing. All right? So, yes, we're moving forward, and the world is one. The world is one. The elements, the energies, they are actually one, but they are different cultural expressions. But just as on my father's side, I'm connected to the Ethiopian, and on my mother's side, I'm connected to Abeokuta, Nigeria. Now, those two energies are what manifests through me. Be it my leadership role, be it my connections with Orisha. So there is a birth that has been born. As I told you, not as a joke, but I say, well, if you have Oshun and Lakshmi has copulated and connected the energy, then this new combination should be called Cindy. Not mocking a name, but in terms of should have a separate name. So if people go back, we have Vigiana, we have Gurum, we have let's call this one Ilekbo. These are new Orishas that has really been birthed within the combination of the collective energies of our experience here in Trinidad. Now they say Congo, but where do we say Congo from? Congo in Nigeria, or in Africa, or is it the Congo people coming together with the Orisha people, copulated and brought these energies that we call Congo energies? All right. So I just our Shaka is the encyclopedia. Maybe you could give us our insight. But they're saying, when we look at the copulation of two energies, it is giving birth to a new energy. Now we have to find out what is this energy and what this energy will bring for us. I go say Abora Boye.
Thank you very much, Baba Melo, who is always locked on to the Ifa. We have live program on the Street 919. As I say, we're not bashing anyone or talking about what people have in their yard and their space, but we're just having a healthy conversation. I am Ifa Taishe Atinomu says, King Shaka, can you read the 16 Ifa law which was tabulated? This is important for the votees to remember right now, or anyone. Please remind us. He says, he inboxes and says, I am asking because I believe if as a devotee we were following this, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now.
Ashe.
Yes, Shaka. Yes, my brother.
Ika Ofun, 16 laws. Ika Fufun. This was divine for 16 elders. Mm-hmm. They were going to Ile Ife to ask for long life. Would they live as Olodumare, the Most High, decreed? This was their question to Ifa. The first law of Ikaofun is that one should not lie. Number 2, one should not perform initiation or ebo or divination without having the complete knowledge.
Benny.
Number 3, you should not mislead people with wrong information. Number 4, one should not deceive people financially or spiritually. Number 5, one should not claim wisdom that they are not entitled to. Number 6, one should humble themselves and not be egocentric.
Oh, sure.
Number 7, one should not be treacherous. Number 8, one should take the taboos seriously. Number 9, one should not break their taboos. Number 10, one should always be trustworthy. Number 11, you should take one should not take a walking cane from a blind. Disrespect or batala creation, in fact, individuals with disabilities. One should not take a cane from elderly persons, which is respect one's elders. Number 13, one should not take an Ogoni's wife. That is, we must respect moral laws. Number 15, one should not go behind and discuss secrets and not betray trust. This Ifa is saying that once someone is coming to you in confidence, one should not betray their confidence. And number 16, one should not disrespect a true Babalawo priest or Olorisha. And this entails that we, as even devotees, we cannot disrespect priests and priestesses of other denominations. We must always give respect. And this is the 16 laws of Ifa that governs us as Ifa devotees. And this is out of Ikaofun. So persons locked on in Radio Land, take a note of it, Ikaofun, so that when we see certain things in our society, we now could have the wisdom to know if what we see, it's either for us or it's not for us. And Ikaofun is speaking wisdom. And it says that we should not deceive people. We should not even, in fact, one should not even deceive themselves. So let us be wise.
Ben.
I'm happy that my brother, Ifa Taishe, he had felt, the vibration in order, to connect the Udu to this topic. Let us be true to ourselves. As H. Yogbe says, the truth starts with us and it transcends outwards. Abura boyo.
Bato, the Ifa laws, trust me, it's beautiful. Shaka?
Facts.
The laws of Ifa is beautiful, and
it's also specific. And it's specific, to our survival and our well-being. And it insulates us from being misled. It insulates us, from falling trapped and victim to the negative forces that are there to deter us from walking our purpose and our destiny. As the brother had said earlier on the call, I don't know his name, Alat Fumishe.
Jason King.
Are you called?
That's Jason King.
Jason King.
Yeah.
His contribution, it was well thought of, it was wonderful. And he brought some very good points. Let us not deceive ourselves. Let us not deceive people. Because in the end, our ancestors are seeing what we do. Our Egbe are seeing what we do. Olodumare is seeing what we do.
Ben.
Ulumu Kerebete, the recorder of heaven, is seeing what we do. So let us be mindful of the things We do information is there. Let us give the right information. We give respect to all, but we give respect to our section and we give respect to other people's section as well. Ashayo.
IFA is about, I keep saying it, respect, patience, and humility. And that is what we need to show. We're not discriminating because we don't know, I don't know, you don't know what the story behind it is, who get whatsoever, because people get different vibrations, people get their own things. Who is I to say you didn't get this? Who is I to say you didn't get that? So at the end of the day, we respect it and we'll continue respecting each and everyone's religion or what they do. But however, we are going to defend Ifa or Risha by all means necessary. We will defend that. We will defend that. We will not discriminate what happens in your shrine or what happens in your ile or your parley, but we will defend. So that is why the discussion was to hear from different folks and hear from different, because when you listen to the Ella Baba Okan, you hear from him, right? You hear from Jason King, you hear from Baba Mello, you hear from Warrior Kitty, you will hear from different people, you will hear different things, but at the end of the day, we as a people need to know what we for, what we stand for, and what we are going forward to meet. Because if please post these laws of Ika Ofun. This is Rolando Alexis, all right, you'll get that. Ifa Taishi Atinumu says, thank you, King Shaka. While we are breaking generational curses, let us not create new ones. Let us greet the ones who knows where the head of the chicken is inside the egg. So, we have come to the end of our beautiful night, a beautiful discussion here on the Ifa Orisha Way of Life program on the Sheet 919 FM, streaming live on Facebook, Sheet 919 FM Facebook page. We're streaming live on Iwer TV, on YouTube, and we have been here, we have been giving you the information, we are not discriminating, we had a good conversation. So I'm not seeing King Shaka anymore. So
right here, brother.
George Wilson, who says, Angie, great is the PNM. This is not the platform for that. Right? This is not the platform for your political gestures, political comments. I know some people, and this man is continuing his foolish comments. Some people, that's the same thing we're talking about. We are speaking about Ifa Orisha, and this person with this fake profile, George Wilson, is talking political talk. I hope and pray that your ancestors take care of you tonight as you sleep. And Dicky says, one question, what do you think when a married man leave his wife and children and go to live with another woman? King Shaka? King Shaka, where are you?
My brother, sorry.
King Shaka, you need to answer this question. We have 10 minutes. I'd like you to wrap it up in 5, please. Annie Dickey says, one question. What do you think when a married man leave his wife and children and go live with another woman? Yes, King Shaka, it's all yours.
Well, firstly, as Ifa says that before we judge or give any adjudication of any situation based on Iwori Meiji, one must hear both sides.
Benny.
So if I have to give comment on that, it means that I would need to hear the side of the man and I would need to hear the side of the woman. Because I am not in that person's domestic situation. I wouldn't know the person's mental state or their emotional state. And I would not be able to be in a position, to give, my 2 cents, because I would need to hear both sides. If I say is that if a person judges a situation without hearing both sides, that person is deemed as a wicked elder. So in order for us to say certain things based on a domestic situation, we must hear both sides, because as much as it may sound grievous or as much as it may sound sad, we must hear both sides. We must investigate both sides. And Ifa tells us to, when two people are looking to copulate, those two people must find out if their destinies are in line with each other. Otherwise, later down the road, it would end up in hardship and heartache. So these are the things that we have to imbibe in our minds to understand, and even to teach our young ones. Before you seek wife and you copulate, find out from Ifa, find out from the divine oracle if that union is one that is compatible. Because a person would go down the road and then things may go haywire because the relationship itself is not compatible. And persons would not stay in scenarios and situations that is not, comfortable for them. Yes, there may be instances where certain things like a person's ori may not be in alignment that would cause them, to abandon, their family. These are the things that seeking Ifa divination would tell a person. And when that happens, the person can avert future dangers that may come. So before, we make any comment on certain things, we must hear both sides. And even for the younger ones, when seeking, to find a partner and settle down, find out from Ifa if this person is for you. Because Osher Meiji tells us the dangers of copulating with the wrong person is that person may suck that person's energy. So Ifa tells us, when you're looking to find a partner, consult Ifa. Consult the Orisha. Find out if that person is for you. Asheo.
So, King Shaka, anything in closing before we leave?
Well, Alatumishe, I would just like to say, as much as we have heard the views of our esteemed guest of honor tonight via the phone call, I myself would like to thank them for giving of their time and their energy, to come on this platform and express certain things. Ifa Orisha is the way of life. It's second to none. And it's not that our tradition is better than anyone else's, it's that ours is just different. And we embrace our differences because it's our differences that gives, that uniqueness in this world. So I would implore to everyone, embrace your uniqueness, stick on the road that is of truth and righteousness. Don't disrespect anyone, give respect, but stick on your road, stick on your journey. The moment you take time to poke your nose, it's when things could come in and throw you off. Aburu, aboye, aboshishe. thank you all. Ashe.
Ashe. So we've come to the end of another beautiful night on the Ifarisha way of life here. May Olodo marry your ancestors and your Orishas. Guide and protect you. May you have a blessed, productive week full of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, where we can all live and be comfortable. Remember the fight that we are up against. So let us give thanks and let us be grateful for what we have. It's all about the Ifarisha way of life on the Street 919 FM each and every Monday between the hours of 7 to 10 p.m. So we're going to take some music before we go.
For grace,
Coming up next is a VSOP live broadcast from all the way in New York City. So don't you dare touch our dial, Street 919 FM. Your host, MC Dukala Tumishi, Baba Mishi. I'm here and I'll be here till midnight.
Before